Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I am happy to have everyone that is able to join me during the live. I appreciate you coming in during the live. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra for Bravo, freaking Bravo. This is just an update on any and all things Bravo, whatever notes I have taken, whatever data dump I still have from BravoCon. This is the time. This is the time. If you're not able to join me during the live, as always, I appreciate Team Replay. Thank you so much for coming in, leaving a like, leaving a comment. I appreciate that. Thank you. And then let's see, this is please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. That is one of the banners. And then the other banner, I just want to say hello. Everything on my video is alleged and it's my own personal opinion. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, where allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Okay, we don't have to have the same opinion. We just have to be polite in expressing that opinion. That is what polite contrarians are welcome here mean. And again, I just want to thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra for my data dump on all things Bravo. Welcome into my moderator, Mama Bees. I'm happy to see you in the live. Team Replay, come in as well. Thank you. Thank you so much, Team Replay. And just comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribing. And I've received a little bit of feedback. People that were subscribed are no longer. That's something that happens with YouTube at times. I've had that happen myself. Sometimes I have unsubscribed on purpose to people, and other times I've just been dropped and then have to go in and resubscribe. So if that's the case, please do so if that is the case in your case. And I appreciate you very much for doing so. Now, as far as the latest news that we have, some of the news have been out for quite a few days. Sharon Gobble, welcome. Thank you so much. Hello, Sandra P's Gen Extra and chat. So I have my moderator in here, one of my A1 day ones in here. So thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. One of the news that I heard about and then also had it sent to me was Porsha Williams, of course, as she was on her way home from BravoCon. A lot of us left out on Sunday. I'm one of the people that left out Monday morning. But Porsha Williams got into some kind of scuffle, kerfluffle, just listening to the lady. The lady was some type Karen, in my opinion, allegedly, and in my opinion. So I wanted to share. Hopefully I have saved that video, but the way this lady was talking, if I didn't save it, I actually have it on my phone. But the news was that the FBI had questioned Porsha or removed her from the plane or something like that. Raised a little bit of a red flag for me because generally something happens on an airplane, there is certain divisions that handle that. National Transportation Safety Board being one of them. Just different entities, usually not the FBI. So I found that kind of interesting. But she was allowed to fly, and it looked like she was back in Atlanta. And what happened had something to do with the volume of her phone, and it seemed to be an extremely rude lady. Welcome in, dear Vet. Thank you so much for coming in during the live. We're just doing like a follow-up to any and all things Bravo that happened after BravoCon and then the latest shows that we've had. So what I'm doing now is just pulling up the Porsha incident where this lady is I felt like she was harassing Porsha a little bit because she made a point of saying she was the last one on the plane. You know, just a little bit of haterade this lady has sipped. And she was pretending she didn't know who Porsha was, and she may not have, and that's okay. But I feel like there was more to it as far as why this lady was so disturbed by Porsha. So I just want to pull that up. Let's see where we are. Okay, because there is Porsha and then also this lady.
The lady
let me see.
sitting next to me.
There's two of them.
So the lady sitting next to me.
That's Porsha. The one I wanted to show you first was the lady, so you can see what Porsha was dealing with. Let me show you Porsha.
She said, so you're going to make me listen to that the whole flight? And I said, well, do you want to? And she said, no. I said, listen to what? am I going to make her listen to my phone?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I said,
This was before we took off.
yes, even before we took off.
So you guys were in Las Vegas when that happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
The plane was on the ground?
Yes.
The door was shut? Was okay.
No, the door wasn't shut. People were still boarding.
People were still boarding?
But she was texting me.
Okay, I couldn't tell.
Okay.
Okay. So she was like, you know, are you going to make me listen to that? I said, well, do you want to? And she said, no. I said, well, that's a nicer way to say that. And she said, bitch, you don't tell me bitch. And I was like, you okay? I'm okay.
Okay, this lady interrupts to tell Portia that she's sorry that happened, this and that. I was looking for the Karen that started the whole thing, but the bottom line is Portia did get back to Atlanta safely. Everyone on the plane did. It sounded like Lauren that was with her. There was someone else that was there kind of giving details as far as what happened between Portia and the lady, but it had something to do with the volume of her phone that this lady was bothered by. But there is a nicer way to say things to people. And then you also can always get flight crew involved, door closed or not. It's their airplane at that point, and you have to listen to instructions from flight crew. Okay, I'm going to show you this later. Another man stepped up to give his, they wanted to be witnesses. So let me show you the camera.
I saw the entire gap. She did not touch
I didn't touch her. Oh, these screens. You hit me in my face. I can tell you. I can tell you. She did not. I could see her.
I can write my info down.
Okay. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm not very good, sir. And you?
Good. I'm Officer Brumman. I work in the Atlanta Police Department.
Great.
So I heard about the incident that happened, but I haven't heard your side of the story.
Why didn't we hear my side of the story first, sir?
Well, I had another officer
Oh, okay. Well,
spoke to you, but I just want to hear it
and do you
personally.
think it's proper to me tell you the whole story where everybody's sitting around here, they can all hear it?
No, ma'am. If you want to be private,
I think we should be private, sir. This is an assault
okay, you
matter.
want to come over?
Yes. I was sitting in my seat. She was the last passenger to come on board. So when she came on board, she said, I'm in that seat. I said, no problem. I jumped up, got far away from her so she had plenty of room. She had to put stuff in the upstairs thing. I understand that. Took plenty of time. Sit back down. We never spoke other than that. And after about 25 minutes of her on Instagram, full blast, every time she would flip, because apparently it was from a loud place, I jumped because it was so loud. And so I waited 25 minutes, give her time, let her do whatever she needed to do. And then I said, am I going to have to listen to that the whole time? And she said, do you like it? And I said, no. And she said, well, I don't like the way you asked me. I said, don't put this on me. And the next thing I know, there was a fingernail so close to my eye that I thought I was going to be physically attacked. She had her, I don't want to do it to you, sir. She had her hands in my face, screaming, calling me crazy. On and on and on. So now the flight attendants can't come help me because they're strapped in for this takeoff. My phone is sitting against my leg on my lap. So I take it to video to try and protect myself. And as soon as I go like this, she takes her hand and goes like that and throws my phone. And everybody sees the phone go down the end of the whole airplane. And the flight attendant told me he saw her knock it out of my hand.
Oh.
And that's assault. And
So
I'm
she actually-
70 years old.
So she actually knocked the phone off your hand?
You're damn right she did.
Okay.
I didn't drop it.
All right. All right. Can you,
Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid she's going to have me killed.
so can you do me a favor?
Did y'all hear that part? I was going to end it, and then this part she said
Her
at the
hand
end.
and goes like that and throws my phone. And everybody sees the phone go down the end of the whole airplane. And the flight attendant told me he saw her knock it out of my hand.
Oh.
And that's assault. And
So
I'm
she
70
actually-
years old.
So she actually knocked the phone off your
You're
hand?
damn right she did.
Okay.
I didn't drop it.
All right. All right. Can you,
Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid she's going to have me killed.
so can you do me a favor? Can you write me a statement on what happened?
Did y'all hear what Karen said? That was ridiculous. So before the plane even takes off, and another reason I know she's lying, there's not going to be boarding and all of that. And then you sit there and engage with another passenger for 25 minutes because the flight attendant would have gotten involved before then. The whole thing is crazy. And then at the end, when she said she was afraid that Portia was going to have her killed, I think the lady was upset that she had to get out of her seat to let Portia in. Sounds like Portia had the window seat and was the last or one of the last one to board. And then the whole way she was engaging with the police officer, did you see the difference between how Portia was speaking to him versus how that lady was speaking to him? She was rude immediately. As soon as he approached her, she felt like she should be the one talking first, which why would she be the one talking first? Don't you think I should have been spoken to first? Just the whole entitlement, all of that. So I think this lady thinks something is going to come out of it. So I don't know whether or not she knew who Portia was, but I know she wanted some type static. I don't believe her about the phone being knocked out of her hand. There was a scene where two passengers interrupted when Portia was still speaking to the officer in Atlanta to say, we're sorry that happened. We didn't see you touch her. And then the lady's claiming that her phone flew out of her hand. Supposedly, she's saying that Portia knocked it out of her hand. So the whole thing seemed like a lie to me. It just seemed like one of those scenarios where people feel like they own the world, and feel like she's a little bit inconvenienced. And she didn't say Portia was on the phone or anything like that. Portia's, I guess, scrolling through Instagram. And because she was at BravoCon, the lady mentioned, I guess she was at a noisy place. It was a noisy place. So she's probably looking at videos and things that were taken of herself. But that shouldn't be anything where there's an incident for Atlanta police to have to meet the plane when it lands. That whole thing is ridiculous. And then I can't really believe when media comes out with stuff, because the first thing I was hearing was that Portia had been arrested upon landing. And then I couldn't find any information about that. So I didn't believe that that was true. And then we see that no, none of that was true. It just looks like something happened on the flight. I think a lot of it was caused by that lady, and she just wanted some type of trouble with somebody that she viewed as being a celebrity or someone that she didn't know but felt like she should know, and she just wants to inconvenience everybody. So that whole thing was just crazy, the whole way she came at her. Yeah, Sharon is saying, okay, let me say what. Welcome in, Dot Willie. I didn't speak to you already. Welcome in. It's obvious this lady is lying. Yeah, she was trying to get her stories together. And then let me see what Sharon says. Oh, please, this lady has all the characteristics of a typical Karen. Yeah, she wants to play the age card. So this lady is a danger to you. You're afraid she's going to have you killed, but you can sit there. She didn't say they had to change seats. She sits there the whole flight, and then she was the one that was being aggressive with Portia first. She said everybody saw it, but where is everyone? I don't see her with any witnesses. She lied on the flight attendant, I believe. I don't think a flight attendant would risk taking sides like that. Yeah, I saw her knock it out of your hand, which I don't believe he or she did. Please hit the like and subscribe. Thank you so much, Cece. So that was one of the Bravo extras that came after. This was Delta. They were flying Delta back to Atlanta. The lady was still seated in the area after, so I'm not sure if she had a connection or another flight. Portia was home once they got to Atlanta, but too bad for Portia to have to speak to the police about something that this lady is obviously lying on her. I'm with Sharon. I'm with Dot Willie. I don't believe a word that this lady's saying. I really don't. But that happens to us. You can be minding your Black-owned business. Sometimes your beautiful Black-owned business, and someone else will get upset and then try to inconvenience you. So that is a trip. Luckily, nothing further came from it. Nothing further came from that this weekend. All right, the other news, y'all, that came out of, wasn't at BravoCon, because this person was not invited to BravoCon, nor I don't believe that they will be welcome at BravoCon. And the one person who I always see singing this person's praises is, in my opinion, Trashy himself. She's the face of Real Housewives of Potomac. She's the future. No, Carlos Kang, she's not. And that is Lion Mia Thornton, who got arrested in Atlanta. Allegedly, what they're saying is that she stole $11,000 worth of furniture from a rented condo. So I knew y'all have heard this news. I wish I had her mugshot because I would sure enough show it. I don't have the mugshot, but this is how crazy Mia was looking in her body cam footage. She's standing right up on the officer in the body cam footage, looking like she's being inconvenienced. Y'all, that is too much. So what the bottom line is, I'll read some of the People article, but we'll discuss it too, because I know everyone has heard it by now. She was arrested in Atlanta on Wednesday, y'all. So that was yesterday, November 19th. She was charged with larceny. She was accused of stealing $11,000 worth of furniture. The other thing we all know, because we follow Real Housewives of Potomac. Let me go right back to what Dot Willie says, because this sums it up. That's what it was. A pretty fine Black woman, an old lady, was intimidated by Porsha's beauty. Absolutely. Let me see if I still had that picture of Porsha. I saw Porsha in the flesh, y'all. And she walked up on me so quickly. She walked by me like grinning. She walked by me just like Porsha. And everybody else had tons of security. But when she walked by me, let me go down one second. Let me see. I was sitting because there was a lot of walking at BravoCon. So I happened to be seated. And by the time I said, oh, there's Porsha. I jumped up. I had my camera. That's the view I had, y'all. She was already walking past me. Now she's in her heels and there's like concrete. So this was the one day it wasn't raining. We're going from one side of BravoCon to the other. There's a lot of square footage inside and outside. We were outside. So I don't know if that expands it for y'all or not. Let me see. This might have been Friday. This was the first day. Look at that lady behind Porsha. Look at her. Look at her looking at Porsha. Now, that's my picture that I took of Porsha walking past me. I didn't stop her. She's on her way somewhere. You see the size of Porsha's phone. How loud is Porsha's phone going to be, y'all? Right there. So thank you, Dot Willie, for bringing that up. We're going to go back to this story for a second. But look at that lady right behind Porsha. She looked like she was getting ready to or trying to film Porsha from behind, which I didn't do. And I wouldn't do. I don't believe in that. Yeah, it is, Sharon. That's how she looks. Y'all know I drag Porsha because Porsha is a trip. But when she's right, she's right. I don't believe Porsha did anything to that Karen. But that's the impact that she had on Karens. For somebody to be ready, I don't care if she's a public figure or not. You mean to tell me you're going to literally go here and you're going to film this lady from behind? Because that is what this other Karen was doing. She's trying to film Porsha from behind. I think that's a little creepy. I don't have that in me. I wasn't about to do that. I didn't follow her. I didn't do any of that. I got the picture that I was able to get and I left it there. But that lady that's right behind us with them silver sneakers on, I didn't like that. I felt like she was like, I don't know if she followed her. I didn't look any further, but she definitely had her phone. I thought she was going to try to film her from behind. I'm going to show y'all one more view. And this is just allegedly and in my opinion, because like I said, I didn't follow after that. Just look at her in the jean dress and silver sneakers. She's holding a phone too. I mean, which is fine. I took a candid photo, but I took a candid photo as she was walking toward me. Yeah, this is all alleged and in our opinion, but I don't care who someone is. You don't film them from behind like that. So I don't believe in that. I don't agree with that. I don't like it, but that's the kind of impact that Porsha has on people. So we see what was going on right there. So then now, like Dot and Sharon and myself were saying, and the lady said herself, I'm 70 years old. Yeah, you 70 years old. You bucking up on somebody who's not bothering you. Here's Mama B's. She incriminates herself, telling the officer she wanted to get the key from Inc. to get the furniture out of storage. Did she do that, Mama B's? Let me see. Okay, let me go back to this People magazine article, y'all. Let me go back. Okay. I'm gonna change the layout one more time. Y'all, this is a mess. Looking a fool. And we see that she was just laughing at, literally making fun of Wendy. I don't know who's guilty, who's not guilty. Everything's alleged, but there was nothing funny about what is going on with Dr. Wendy and Happy Eddie, Mia and Inc. and all this kind of stuff. And Inc. and she don't even go together anymore. So I know Inc. did not want to take this call from this jailbird about a key and try to implicate him. B said she incriminated herself, telling the officer she wanted to get the key from Inc. to get the furniture out of storage. Why the devil did she have that people's furniture in storage? That was a rented unit. So she's charged with larceny, accused of stealing $11,000 worth of furniture. So Mama B's, wow, she did incriminate herself. She's never been accused of being that bright. And it was at the airport. So she knew she had an open warrant. And the last place to go is to the airport, honey, because you have your ID on you. And when they scan it, they know who's coming through. Police says Thornton was taken into custody because she had an active warrant. That's from the People magazine article, related to a larceny involved in alleged furniture theft. So then Mama B says that in that police footage, she's asking the police to let her call Inc. and get the key. You know what her lie is going to be? I'll give her lie. Yes, I did move. And it was October 28th, a few days before Halloween. Yes, I did move. I moved in the middle of the night, but I can't physically move the furniture. I had people helping me move, and they didn't know what was mine and what was the landlord's. So it was a misunderstanding that the TV got taken off the wall. Yeah, y'all, they took the TV off the wall. Black Friday's coming up next weekend. How much of these TVs? You can get a TV. They're going to be giving them away this year. You'll probably walk in and they'll give you $100 bill to leave with a flat screen. So, Mia, you played yourself, baby. So the police report viewed by People alleges that a property management company called police on behalf of their client, who's the owner of the condo unit rented out to Thornton, after furniture was allegedly removed from the property in the middle of the night on October 28th. Thornton's former landlord claimed the tenants also took all of the furniture which was in the unit prior to their move-in, as well as the TV, which was on the wall. I told y'all that. The property that was allegedly stolen was valued at $11,000. According to the report, People reached out to Thornton for comment. They didn't say what she said. You know, Mia would kill to get people on the phone to talk to her. So, Mia, you going to contact People back? In April, Thornton left Real Housewives of Potomac after 4 seasons and moved to Atlanta. We saw her walk off the job, y'all. Clocked out early and went home. And Andy let her leave, too. And they kept right back on with the reunion. That's how I knew Mia was done. I said, okay. She didn't even do a Brit Eady, no call, no show. She left in the middle of her working day. So in a long Instagram post, she shared that she had made the decision to relocate to Atlanta with her family. That's another thing Giselle added. Don't you live in Atlanta? So this is a trip. She was lying then. I think she had already moved. Therefore, would not be returning to the Real Housewives of Potomac next season. We didn't hear anything about them hashing out her contract like we usually do. So they didn't want her back, it looks like. So y'all, that whole situation is a mess. Mia. I know G better not take her call. That's his children's mother, but he's probably still trying to heal mentally after the way she tried to play that man on national TV, help mess up his family business. Y'all know they still own a lot of the joint chiropractics here in my city, here in Charlotte. And it's a big business. It's been a lucrative business. But Mia and G were accused of, and I don't know how much of it was G. Things started to kind of go downhill when Mia was trying to take charge to play her little role as, you know, she's a businesswoman running this business so that she could give this fake image to Real Housewives of Potomac fans and producers. Remember Dr. Wendy reading Mia, look at the CEO in your blazer. So yeah, they got into it about that. I had the article up and it disappeared, but that was the gist of it. Mia's in trouble, $11,000. So I don't know, to get the key from Inc. If I were Inc., I wouldn't have any key. I wouldn't know anything about it, and I wouldn't be the one that helped her move. This is crazy. I bet Mia's not laughing now. I bet she's not. She sure enough was cackling, went live. I don't know if it was her own live or someone else's because I don't follow her, but I saw where she was actually laughing about, I'm mind my business. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm not. So what are you commenting on it for? I don't talk about my former coworkers. I don't care. If she didn't take the TV, I would have maybe halfway believed her. Yeah, that's just a bridge too far. I mean, you take a TV off the wall, anybody can get one of those. I'm not even in the market for a TV. I'm not going to shop Black Friday or anything like that. But if there's a scenario where I hear, okay, these TVs are being basically given away, I have one that could be replaced. I'd like it to be a few inches bigger. Oh, you think so, Sharon? G will probably take her back. She's been damaged goods, and he took her the first time. Got those 2 children with her, and they're still young. I think their kids are still preteens, even though she played with them, played with their reputation, played with their emotions, all on national TV. I hate to say it, Sharon, I agree. I think she would be welcomed back. Now, not by G's family, but G has gone against his family before for Mia. So now that she's not with Ink, Bobby Valentino just likes the attention that comes along with her. He is, I won't call him washed up, because Bobby Valentino can jump on any one of these millennial tours that go around and make a little bit of money. And he gets in the blogs by fooling with Mia. But I don't think even Bobby Valentino, as thirsty as he is, wants any parts of this. He used to be he was one of the ones over there on Love and Hip Hop when Benzino and Kirk and who else was the lady? Basketball Wives, and then she went to Love and Hip Hop. They were all in the hot tub, and Kirk got in trouble with Rashida. Bambi. Yeah, Bambi, that was you. That was you, Bambi. So there's certain little people that buzz around these Real Housewives, reality TV, Bravo celebrity, different people like that. Mia was never, to me, she never fit Real Housewives of Potomac. She just didn't. I'm glad she's gone. In my opinion, she was damaged goods from the beginning. She absolutely was. You remember how they came on acting like they were so freaky deaky? And then she was like, oh, we were down in Miami, and they were having a public incident on a beach, her and G was a whole married man at the time. Now, you know who is a real lady, because we haven't heard from her at all. G's ex-wife, G's first wife. You don't hear a word from that lady. She lets him and his trashy ex-wife do what they do, and that lady never commented at all, and you don't hear G commenting on that either. And she's his age group. G's in his 70s. His first wife is probably maybe late 60s or 70, and you don't see her out here being a fool or saying a word. And he's the type man, he probably wished that he still had a decent woman, unlike Mia. He got to pay to be with Mia. Remember, Mia had them in the same building. She had her and G. At one point, they had a condo in the building, and then she moved G upstairs or downstairs, and then she had the kids called Mr. Ink. Mr. Ink in there with her and the kid, the whole scenario. Just when I think about Mia and how trashy she is, it disgusts me. So I don't wish ill on anyone, but if it happens and they've been instrumental in laughing at someone else or karma on other people, I tell you what, Wendy's mom, Miss Sharon, she's probably not one to play with, because every time somebody start cackling about Wendy or talking too much or too loud or getting too happy, look how fast Mia got a whole mugshot after making fun of Dr. Wendy. It didn't take long at all. So karma. And then Wendy they had their little mugshot, her and Eddie, but she hadn't spent a day in jail yet. And we haven't seen a long video of Dr. Wendy talking to the police. Now they're still investigating and doing a lot of different stuff, but Mia, for that little $11,000 in furniture she could have went to Rooms to Go and got, she's already suffered more consequences than Dr. Wendy so far. So you got to leave people alone, especially you don't know who you're dealing with. So that is just a mess. But yeah, I'm with you, Sharon. I think she is damaged goods from the very beginning. So that was two more of the Bravo information that came out. As far as just news, things that are in the news. Let's see, BravoCon. I didn't cover day 3 of BravoCon yet. I have a whole separate video out for day 1. Also day 2. Day 3, the biggest thing that happened on day 3 was I attended the Salt Lake City panel. I attended, I didn't stay for the Next Gen NYC panel. The kids could be, the kids, they're all in their 20s. If Charlie had been there, he'd been the old man. Now Charlie was not there. Everybody else was there. They're going to come back with a bang. They're very popular. Riley Burris is the most popular. I didn't attend the Lifetime Achievement Awards, which was, it consisted of Candy giving a speech that people were talking about the next day. That happened Saturday night. You needed a separate ticket for that. One of my criticisms of BravoCon is that you could buy a 3-day pass, which was $600 plus. That was my general admission. They had a VIP, which was probably double that. They had certain areas that the VIPs could get into. And of course, any of the panels, they will get the front seats. So they had better and more access. They also had a VIP lounge. To me, it wasn't worth it for the 3 days to pay over $1,200. And from the VIPs, I'm hearing from various ones, it's not as good or as close as they have been able to get in prior years. And there's Martin. Hey. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming in during my little Bravo. I'm just wrapping up BravoCon. We just got through talking about Portia and her experience with the Karen. This is my candid picture of Portia, my actual photo that I took as she was coming toward me, and I was not prepared. I had to jump out of my seat and take her picture best I could. And then we also talked about Mia Thornton laughing at Dr. Wendy and then getting her own mugshot about this furniture that she could have just bought herself. Her and Ink or G or somebody took the TV off the people wall, Inez. But now I'm talking about last day of Bravo, the final day of Bravo. So the panel, Salt Lake City panel, was a pretty good panel. All of the ladies from Salt Lake City attended. The one thing I did not like about it is that the VIPs are allowed to sit closer to the front. There were so many empty seats. So I'm thinking there were many, many, many more general admission attendees than there were VIP attendees. And they never did a thing where, you know, at some concerts, you can kind of move up if the other people are not coming in. No, they would just leave that big empty area between VIP and general admission. So we were still sitting further back. Sandra, what did you think about Riley's outfit? I didn't think it was appropriate attire. Yeah, Riley's outfit, she is a younger lady. Okay, let me see if I can find it. It looked like a bathing suit type thing. So all the Riley legs was out. And Riley is big. Riley's probably about a good 5'10". I'm a good 5'10" myself. She might even be 6 feet tall. And she wears either wedges or stilettos or thick heel boot shoes. So Riley's way over 6 feet. All her legs were out. And this was a formal affair. Kandi was actually in a gown. Kandi was in a gown. So I didn't think it was appropriate for the event. She was up there with Cynthia Bailey. I think Cynthia Bailey might have given her the award. So Cynthia Bailey gave the award. Kandi accepted. Y'all, I attended a panel. They had a sisters panel on one of the side stages, which was Kathy Hilton and Kyle. And they were just laughing, joking about different stuff. But we were laughing at Kathy Hilton because she was saying, oh, we met the sweetest young lady from, where's she from? I think she's from Atlanta. Her name is Kandi. She gave such a good speech, so inspiring. The crowd busted out laughing because the sweet lady from Atlanta, what's her name? Kandi, is Kandi Burruss. But Kathy Hilton did not know who that was at all, even though this lady's getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, Kathy. So who do you think it was? So we find that all really funny. But I wouldn't say it was appropriate, but honestly, the way these kids show up and how they dress. All right, let me see. All right, this is her. I was trying to see where, let me see if Riley is right next to her. Hopefully they'll show Riley so y'all can see what she had on. She got on kind of like I'll say the Beyonce thing. Beyonce started that whole baby suit thing. Oh, this is the full speech.
Here we are.
Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. All right, they're going to show it.
Then the torch passed to my daughter, Riley.
Top cute.
Riley,
Keep
y'all
watching.
are filming season 2 of The Next Gen, and I am so proud.
See how that
Are we
leg?
proud, Kim? Our girls are doing their thing. I love y'all. You took the torch, lit it on.
Kenny's still kissing up to Kim. But Riley, yeah, I don't think it's appropriate. I love the top. It just looked like she forgot her skirt or her pants. It just looks like she forgot her skirt or pants. That's what I'll say about that, Sharon. Inez Martin is laughing. Yeah, we'll see. Mia's not laughing. Somebody said Mia's not laughing. Got that smile wiped off her face. Welcoming everybody in. Thank you so much, Mama Bees and CC. DG, thank you so much for coming in during the live. Just wrapping up BravoCon with Bravo freaking Bravo. We were talking about Mia laughing at Dr. Wendy and getting a mugshot, and actually more consequences than Dr. Wendy so far for what she has done. I was talking about a sister panel I attended between Kathy Hilton and Kyle, and we were all laughing because Kathy wants to meet that sweet young lady from Atlanta who is none other than Kandi Burruss. So we found that pretty funny. Kandi giving that speech. I'm proud of Kandi. A lot of people think Kandi is boring and all of this. I think she gave all she had to give to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm actually glad she's not back. I want to see what they can do without her for now. Look at Portia in the audience and Phaedra. So I don't know if any of them is up for Lifetime Achievement in the near future, but I say Kandi deserves that. But honestly, I would have to say the house that NeNe Leakes built, her name came up during Bravo. She is still someone that is popular within the Bravo verse. and she is still right now wasn't at BravoCon, but her name came up. Definitely, Nene was mentioned. Carol Radiswell was there. She's feuded with Andy, and they are friends again. It came up. I was at a panel with Jeff Lewis and Andy. Someone asked about Nene. Which one of the housewives would Andy make up with first? Andy didn't love the question, but Jeff was pressing him. And Jeff was like, Nene? He said, I texted Nene the other day. So Andy and Nene are still in contact. So we don't know whose idea this is, whether Nene's coming back or they have a different project. But she does host a lot of events for them, a lot of red carpet type stuff. DG is saying Kim must be broke because all the OG housewives are chanting her back. Kandi, Nene, and Sheree. She could be broke. You know, she's named in a lawsuit, somebody else's divorce case. So Kim, Nene told her 20 years ago, close your legs to married men, trash block hookah. And she's still out here up in her 40s. Remember, she was 30 when we met her, and we didn't believe her, but I think she was less than 30. Kim might have been about 27, but she's aging like she ages because of how, certain ones age. But Next Gen NYC, Andy gonna throw a couple of dollars, couple of bones. She's named recently in someone's active divorce case. You think they're all wanting her back? Yeah, I can't stand that, DG, because let me tell you what, Kim's not gonna stand for any of us. The way she owe Kandi now. And I'll never forgive Kandi for crying boohoo tears at that reunion. It's not about the money. You owe me. How much did I make? And Kim made like $80,000 from Tardy for the Party. And since my lawyer said I don't have to pay you back, she said, you think I only deserve $6,000? I was so mad at Kandi over that. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad Adriana and Riley are friends. I think that's really sweet that they've rekindled. I didn't like those two falling out when they've known each other since they were 6 years old. So these two country girls, or Southern girls, I'll say, to be in New York, not have anyone else, and then rekindle with each other, I love that. But Kandi Burruss, we can't tell her what to do, but I say Kim is not it. Kim, I would never trust Kim again. She's terrible. The BravoCon Shade Award should be named the Nene Leakes Shade Assassin Award. Cece, don't be surprised if sometime in the future you see Andy Cohen do something like that. Because Nene Leakes did put shade and all that kind of stuff. But can you read? Read. That was all Nene. All Nene. People are still living up to that now. And that's the goal, to be shade assassin. So this is the trick. Kim looks rode hard and put up wet. She said racism does not exist. Cece, she was rode hard and put up wet by other people's husband in a court case right now. It doesn't exist to her because she's on the other side of it. She's more likely to be that lady sitting in the Delta area at 70 talking about it. And then another thing, she threw my phone down the aisle. Yeah, she's a grifter. She's a grifter. She owe Adriana right now. But Adriana says she doesn't care anything about that. I love Adriana's spirit. I don't think Kim could ever do anything to make Adriana look down on her. She loves her mom, and I appreciate her for that. But we know Kim is not worth too much. I don't know why, but I feel Kandi has a soft spot for Kim. I see it too, Sharon. It's not always the best. Another duo, and they're not even a duo. We don't want them to be a duo. But the other show, Love and Marriage Huntsville, before Melody Cherie left that show, I consider myself a Melometer, meaning I root for all things Mel, not anything else. But I feel like Melody had that same type soft spot for Tisha. And when you see like the down dirty in certain ones, and you're like, stay away from that girl, she's no good. But certain people with a certain type heart, they're gonna always say, well, she's not that bad. I've known her in her good moments. I know she'd like to do better, this, that, and the other. I think Kandi feels that way toward Kim. I always felt like Melody felt that for Tisha. I really do. And had Wanda not been so disrespectful and crazy, I think they could have remained and retained some type of friendship. I think Mel's a little wary of Tisha now because we see Tisha for her works, but I'll never not believe that Melody don't have some type of soft spot for Tisha. Melody sitting up here a few months ago talking about Tisha called me and I took her call. She didn't want me to say what we talked about. And Mel sitting up grinning and glad to talk to this lady. I don't trust Tisha as far as I could throw her cute little self. Tisha's a mess. Here's DG. Yeah, I didn't understand the crying over Kim when she did it on those black women that last reunion. She did. She said something to the effect that I'm the only white woman that would be up here on an all-black cast. She act like she kind of shined up the cast or really elevated them by her being there. Her and her wig didn't elevate a doggone thing. Because if we look at the OGs, the people that put Atlanta on the map with no blueprint, like Nene said, they didn't know what they were doing. When they did that first season, and you could tell how authentic it was with herself, Sheree, even Deshawn Snow. I don't know why, well, I know why they didn't bring Deshawn Snow back. I think she wasn't willing to be ratchet enough for them. Not that Nene and Sheree and Kim were, maybe Kim was, but Deshawn Snow she had more of a Potomac vibe, just setting aside location. She was different as far as that first season. I would have loved to seen her back and seen her story. We would have heard a lot more about her and Eric and the things that they went through. So the other people, let me see who else I read. Oh, I'm looking forward to Traders. The Traders panel was a very good panel. Portia was on that panel because she is someone that is going to be in the Traders US that's coming out in a few weeks. I don't have the date. It might even be January. I'm looking forward to it. I'm reviewing that, of course. I can't wait to see it. Kirsten Wiig is a Bravo celebrity. She's from Top Chef. She does a lot of hosting. She's really well liked by Bravo. I saw her walking past me in a crowd of security. Y'all, I wasn't on the ready because it was my first BravoCon. I was experiencing it as just a fan, even though I was there as a content creator. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan, so I was looking around, had my head on a swivel just for who I could see, different things like that. So by the time people would get past me, I didn't really have like the photos I wanted. This is Kirsten Wiig. She's an Asian young lady. She's a Top Chef. I don't know if she has her own restaurant, but I know that she's been on a lot of different Bravo type products. She does a lot of hosting. But if you see her full on, you'll know who that is. But she was on the Traders panel. The best thing to come off the Traders panel, one of the content creators, Alexander Rogers, he does this series called Pop Roast with his friend called Chris. Chris is C. Diggy One. He's also a creator. And they will kind of hang out at the microphone so they could get their questions in. He asked Robin Dixon a question that was not about Traders, y'all. She got so mad. It was hilarious. He wanted to know, Rob, hello, are you upset that Bravo fired you because you put your real story behind a paywall and they had to get rid of you? And Rob, Rob is pretty. I think Robin is pretty, but she's got a mean face when she gets mad. She was furious. I'm not answering that. I'm not answering that. And the audience, we were like hooting, wanting her to answer, booed her because she didn't answer, and cheered Alexander Rogers, who walked off because she wouldn't answer the question. But then she took somebody else's question about the Eminem lawsuit, and that wasn't Traders either. So I don't know why Andy is having Robin hang around. Robin can go, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think anybody wants Robin back at all. They had a new up-and-coming panel. I'll show you the up-and-comers. Bronwyn Newport. Bronwyn was dressed every single day I saw her. This is Bose Bazoma. And then from Beverly Hills, of course. And Stephanie. Stephanie was popular. I walked past Stephanie in a crowd of security. She is very tiny, very personable, very loud, very funny. She says that Las Vegas Steph is loud with bigger boobs, longer hair, and all of this. Y'all, Larsa had sent this girl to her doctor. I don't know. Sharon likes Stephanie. Kirsten, the Korean chef, that's her CC. Yes, she is stunning. Very thin, very well put together, beautiful. She's going to be Traders US. So there's a lot of people I'm going to root for this year on Traders. I feel like they brought Dorinda back again. You know, they kept sending Dorinda home early because she's a Real Housewives of New York and she speaks her mind. I'm looking forward to seeing her. She claims she did better this time. So maybe the producer said, look, y'all, don't send Dorinda home first no more. So we'll see what's going to happen. I love her on Top Chef. Me too, Sharon. So we have her to look forward to on Traders. We have her. We have Portia. I think Portia's going to show them big old teeth and just be laughing, and she might be under the radar. I'm curious if they would make Portia a traitor or if she'll be a faithful. I think she could actually do either one, but I think hopefully the other people won't just do that easy thing where they're just sending the housewives home in a row, because we got Portia, Dorinda's there again. I can't remember who. Oh, Candace, y'all. Candace from Potomac. And Candace from Potomac is trying to have some kind of feud with Portia. I'm starting to think, could it be Candace, y'all? Candace in that little mouth. She claims she done got into it with Portia. Now, C. Diggy one asked the question. He said, Portia, are you okay with Candace? Are you the one that Candace said she cussed somebody out? And Portia's like, me? I don't know. I'm good with her. So the audience is just laughing, y'all. I don't know if I believe Portia. If she has offended Candace, she claimed not to know. I don't know. But she said, we were fine in Scotland. We were fine. But y'all know Portia. Portia will lie with an open-faced smile. So I don't know what's going on between her and Candace, but evidently they got into it. Yeah, Sharon admits that you had her through the season. Yes, I like New Money. Stephanie's New Money. That's a question that came up. Stephanie, could you brag less? And it was the one of the content creators that was hosting. I didn't like some of the hosts. I feel like they were trying to put the Bravo celebrities on the spot, trying to make them look silly. And Stephanie was like, could I? Yeah. So the audience was laughing. She said, but I work so hard. I work real hard. I like nice things. So we were all laughing with her. So she said that she could brag less, but she's not going to. So Sharon, you'll still have your New Money this year. So Stephanie's the same. She was popular with the audience. She had to grow on me. I couldn't stand Stephanie at first. I couldn't stand all that bragging. I didn't mind Alexia and them getting on her about that plane and all the bragging, and then not getting on the plane to go from point A to point B with all those rules. Somebody she met, she said, I liked them so much. I told them they could poop on my plane. And she had the audience dying laughing. She's a really funny, personable young lady. Very pretty, very tiny, very pretty. Let's see, who else? Oh, Captain Jason was there. He said that Heather lied on him. Yeah, he said that him and Heather, nothing went down with Heather. This is two contestants. They had a bunch of games and stuff. I didn't get involved in any of the games. The games I played were like, you could get on stage and make a monkey of yourself, which that's not my MO. It's not my ministry. I played a game behind the scene where I could win like little things for my Bravo bag. So this was the team I was on. You answer a few questions. They put you on a team. And this was true, y'all. So my team was Team Throw Shade. And then you would show up to the Bravo booth and they would give you a reward. So you're the quiet powerhouse of the Bravo universe, handling drama with well-timed reads and strategic alliances. You don't need to raise your voice. Your shade speaks volumes. So I agree with that message. And then you get a little note from Andy. That's me in the upper corner. You're an icon. And then I had to show that at a booth and got like a little prize. It was just a little, kind of like a little pocketbook that said receipts inside or something like that. It was really cute, but it was a jam-packed, fun-filled weekend. Okay, here's Cece saying, Kirsten and Portia follow one another. Was Candace on the Traders panel? I can't remember her there. I don't think she was there, Cece. I'll just be honest, because if she was there, I think she would have spoke up, because Chris ended up asking Portia the question. And Candace didn't say anything. Portia was laughing about, I don't know. I'm good with Candace. So the whole thing was just silly. Matter of fact, I think Candace was hosting something else, because I know they had different events. They had that behind us is Caesar's Forum. It's like right off the strip, like a block on the other side of the strip. Easily walk to, but a couple of the days we had like unprecedented rainstorms. So that was where most of the 3-day events took place. A lot of the add-ons that Andy sold additional tickets to, which I think was a money grab, took place at Planet Hollywood. It's close. It's about a block away as well. And then there was another place where they were having all these other events. But Caesar's Forum is where I spent the most of my 3 days. I didn't buy any additional add-ons, because those additional tickets could be from like $60 up to $200 to watch the Watch What Happens live taping. Additional tickets were for Candace, where she gave her speech. Vicki Gunvalson, you may have already heard, received her orange again. I'm not watching OC again, y'all. I don't like OC. I'm not watching OC. I don't care enough about those ladies, and I just don't care about it. Honestly, my favorite would be Salt Lake City. That was an okay panel, but I didn't like how they wouldn't let us really ask about the current season. They brought up the unicorn and all that controversy itself. The husbands that were there, I saw John. I saw well, Jared's not a husband, but he was there trying to be seen, taking a bunch of pictures. Robert Cosby Sr., of course, was not there. So Barry keeps him under wraps. I think he told the people to leave him alone. I'm trying to see who else. I didn't get to see Russell, but I did see Gertie. Very pretty. Miami, to me, has the best looking overall cast. They're really, really pretty. Heather Gay, she's very skinny. She's kind of odd looking. This was something that, let me see. Shamia was there, very loud, very inappropriate, clowning. This was something she was hosting. Okay, now that's a Chanel dress. Look at Miss Classy Wife. Look at. Wait a minute. Heather Gay was on that. Kelly was there. I think she went out of focus. Wait a minute, let me show you. Look at Shamia.
All right, let's see where it's gonna land for Shamia. Where's it gonna land? Oh my.
So she spun the wheel. It was a game. Like I said, they would let the audience participate in some games, but I'm the last person. I'm not going to get up and start like booty shaking or something for them people. That's crazy. But for Shamia to do that, way too much. Let me show y'all her again. Look at this. It don't even take all that. And y'all know I like Shamia. I don't understand why she does all that. We had Kelly up there. Let me see if I can show you Kelly. Kelly and her little self, a clown as well. I didn't get the whole thing. They're supposed to be spinning the wheel and then doing whatever the wheel said. But whatever the wheel said, they would turn it into like twerking and stuff. So just ridiculous, embarrassing. And it was fun, but to me, they were doing a lot. So we had Shamia again. And I like a big personality. I like when somebody's exuberant and all of that. But you start booty shaking and dropping it and all this kind of stuff, that's much too much for me. Reza was there. Reza's coming back with a show called it's another The Valley, but they're bringing back the people that were on the show with him and MJ and Gigi. Gonessa. Gonessa was my favorite. Gonessa was my favorite. I liked her a lot. So would I do BravoCon again? Yes, I would. Depending on how much the VIP pass, I would consider VIP. But what I would like, I wish they would add more of the add-ins into VIP. I don't understand paying extra. I don't think that that's fair. But that's what they did. They added it just kind of like a cash grab. So there was a bunch of different activities that you could attend. You don't want to see either, Sharon. I don't either. CC, I've come to that conclusion, and I didn't want to come to that conclusion. I don't like a one-season wonder. I don't even like to drag people in their sophomore season. But when I tell you Shamia was cringe the entire weekend, her and Kelly were making headline. They started picking at Drew the day before the Real Housewives of Atlanta panel. There were a lot of different interviews going on. So you could kind of keep your ear to the ground, but you wouldn't know everything that was going on. So I had an actual seat. I was sitting at the Real Housewives of Atlanta panel and noticed that something was going on between them. Someone asked a question, and it turns out that Kelly and Shamia were asked by someone, being messy, who's the better singer, K. Michelle or Drew? So Kelly wants to make a comment. Well, you see who's getting awards. So basically she's saying K. Michelle is better than Drew. To me, it's a matter of preference. I think both of those ladies can sing. Drew got upset and said, well, one thing I know, both of us sing better than you. She said Shemessy. She called Shamia Shemessy, all this kind of stuff. So they got into it right there on the panel. Drew said, and Kelly the Minion has no talent at all. Kelly started talking at the top of her lungs, jumped up, walking back and forth. I guess that's her talent, walking on these 6-inch heels. Talent is where you make it. And Drew said, and another thing, I prefer Waffle House to Nana's Chicken and Waffles. So then they got into it. The host, I can't remember. Oh, Rachel Lindsay from Batch Nation was the host. She wasn't suited for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Portia was laughing. Phaedra was going, and Angela was like, ladies, we're not here for this. Ladies. And Rachel finally said, okay, we're going to have to move on. Rachel couldn't do nothing with Atlanta, y'all. It was a mess. So this season is going to be hot because Shamia is still being cringe. As Cece said, Shamia is being cringe. She's very desperate, very attention hungry, very willing to attack Drew, and still mad that she and Portia are not friends. That came up. Shamia's, I'm prayerful, I'm this, that, and the other. Portia just rolled her eyes. Portia wants no parts of Shamia. So this is going to be crazy. I don't like Reza either. A few years ago, he said black biatches while discussing the Real Houses of Atlanta 80s ladies on Watch What Happens Live. I remember something similar, Cece. Shahs of Sunset. I used to watch that show, but there's an undercurrent with them that you can catch. And if he was, that might not be the time, or it could be. He was on Watch What Happens Live with Cynthia Bailey or somebody. And every time he would address Cynthia, who was classy, been around the world in I mean, she has designer fashion that probably were given to her from the designers. Every time he would address Cynthia Bailey, who is as classy as they come, unless she wants to be 50 Cent, and that's not a lot. When he would address her, he was using something like a black scent, which Andy found hilarious. Andy's a mean guy too. He's a mean boy, but Andy's polished with it. Jeff is trash with money. I sat in on their question panel. I was there when he made the Monica Garcia. Well, Andy, you're just not doing Affluent Housewives anymore. You're just not trying. Okay, I could go with that because it's aspirational. You aspire to that. But then he said, didn't Monica Garcia just lose her food benefits? We didn't like that. The audience booed him. He sat there and looked stupid. Andy was upset about it, like, oh, come on, this, that. Andy didn't like it. But Andy is afraid to push back on Jeff. So right after that, Jerry O'Connell, who's a Bravo super fan. He's an actor. He's been in so many different things. I love Jerry O'Connell. He was wearing these little glasses and his long hair. He's jumped up in the audience and asked some kind of question, and it kind of smoothed things out. But Jeff, he wasn't suited for that Ask Andy panel. He was very rude. And I did things about Jeff that I like, but some of that stuff is cringe. So I'm with you, CC, on Reza. Reza is, you got to watch him because some of his humor, it's not funny. And a lot of it is, they'll slide that anti-black stuff in too if you don't watch him. So in addition to Reza, I see that in Andy. I see that in Jeff Lewis. So Jeff Lewis, he's on his radio show. He tells all different kind of stories. He says, well, I'm affluent. So I guess he grew up with money or something like that. But I heard something about, I was watching a creator and somebody said in the chat that Jeff was telling a story laughing about how he and his grandmother, they'll be in a car going somewhere. And if they were, they grew up in California, if they were driving or something, and it happened to be a rainy day, which you don't get a lot of rainy days in California, but someone would be walking, they would work to splash puddles on people. That kind of punching down, I just don't do. It's not SNAP benefit. None of that's funny to me. Why is that funny to you? And Monica Garcia just had a baby, and she's not on the show. And she tweeted, F you, Jeff Lewis, you're elitist, all kind of stuff. She cussed him out, which she should have. So some of that does go on Bravo. The atmosphere at Bravo, I felt comfortable. There were not a ton of people that look like me, but I did recognize all of the creators, whether the smaller creators, the creators that do look like me, the larger creators. The one I wanted to see, I did not get to see, was the Brooke Ashley. I really did want to see her. I didn't get to see her. I just saw like her coverage and in pictures because, Miss Brooke, the doll is VIP, okay? So she was in a lot of those areas that my yellow wristband, everyone is not able. So she actually was, and she didn't come in until Friday. I was there Thursday. And so she started her events and coverage, she said, on Saturday. I did see C. Diggy one up close and personal. He's fine. He's tall. He's like 6'7". Alexander Rogers is tall too. I didn't get pictures with them. I didn't take pictures with any creators. I don't really do that stuff, but it's comfortable enough where I flew solo by choice and got a lot of pictures and things like that. Took part in everything that I wanted to take part in. The one thing I had signed up for, was invited to, and then missed because it was on Friday and it was rainy all day that day. And I started early that day, and this event didn't go until 8 o'clock, was called Creator Con. And I found out that everybody was there. So I really missed out. And I feel like I missed out, but that's the only thing. So that was the thing that it was thrown by these two ladies that do the docket, these ladies that cover all the legal stuff for Bravo. And they had a bar down the street. They had an open bar. The people that were invited, name were on a list. So I was excited about that. But then at the last minute, changed my RSVP to not attend and went back to my hotel and just relaxed. So I could have met more creators there. C. Diggy One said he was there. Alexander Rogers was there. Binge Worthy. I kept seeing him from a distance. He seems a little shy, y'all, and he's quiet and reserved, but he's so sweet and bubbly and happy. If you could be quiet and introverted, but also bubbly, just real calm, cool. He was at that event, but I just saw him from a distance during the General BravoCon. I was about to type if you saw the Brooke Ashley. No, not in person close, because she was on some 6-inch heels, baby. Brooke is bad. So I saw her coverage, but I didn't get close to her. Brooke was in the VIP areas with the Bravo celebrities, okay? So that is something that possibly I would invest in if I do another BravoCon. So it was well worth it. It was a lot of fun. I still have a lot of like little videos and photos. I could be better as far as with the organization, but the trip was well worth it. It was a lot of fun. The Stands Out Married to Medicine panel. Dr. Jackie, y'all, she's going to get on my nerves again this season. Toya's going to be fighting for her life this season. Quad's doing her good Tubi acting already. She's taking on this IVF storyline, which I don't really buy. She's taking it to Africa, but she did a lot of IVF treatments with Dr. Jackie, or they say she did. Dr. Jackie had a moment where she kind of teared up and brought the audience closer to her, but then I remember her dogging out Black women and her real feelings about Black women, and I couldn't really feel for Dr. Jackie. Y'all saw that recent video of that Black lady trying to give her intake and sitting there in active labor with the crown in her lap, and the nurse is going, and who's your doctor? And then calling the doctor, and then what's his name? And how many children at home? And this lady had the baby 12 minutes after she finally got back to a hospital room. And the lady's mother was sitting there with her the whole time, in Texas, of course. They were supposed to admit this lady. So I would like to know Dr. Jackie's thoughts on that, since she feel like people are just crying and trying to get off work rather than actually going through something at the hands of some of these doctors. Dear Yvette, if you win again, what's the best events to purchase? I say if you have a general admission badge and you could afford to do add-ons, any awards show I think will be worth it. And then the Watch What Happens live taping. Those are the two things I chose not to purchase additional tickets, because it would have been anywhere from $60 to $200 extra to go to either event. So if what my advice would be, and what I would take my own advice next time if I'm able to attend, my goal would be to just get a VIP ticket. And then I would only purchase one add-on. I think they could move to a program where they allow at least one add-on event for VIP. That would make more sense and be fair. The Brooke Ashley has hours of coverage. She didn't cut it up. She did her one video. She was talking about, another thing I saw Joe and Melissa Gorga. I saw a panel. Melissa was talking about, people were saying, Joe went with Teresa. They've been talking, they're this and that. A lot of people would think they're doing it for attention. They're actually not doing it for attention. I went to a panel that Melissa was at, and she was saying she made up with Teresa because Joe came back to the hotel and was like gushing. This is her after she was telling that story. That's Melissa. Melissa's small. She's really pretty. She's personable. But she was saying, I'm glad they made up. I don't care what it means for the show or not. This is Kyle, who's very popular. Tamra, not so much. The audience did not like Tamra Judge. She said, but they did make up. It's real. She said, my husband came back to a hotel and was gushing about his sister. You know, Joe Gorga loved himself some Teresa Giudice, as mean as she has been over the years. And of course, it stemmed and started from when Melissa and Joe came on the show. She thought they came on her show to kind of put her down and take her place. And a lot of it was Teresa driven over the years. And their daughter and Gia Giudice, they haven't been close. They used to be little cousins that loved each other. But that reconciliation, according to Melissa, and I believe it, is real. I saw Joe. He's very short, very good looking, grinning from ear to ear. I think it's true. And I haven't watched Jersey in years because of that. I think Andy has that Carlos King quality where he kind of relishes meddling in some of these families. I hate to say it, but I get a feeling that Andy feels like some of that is good TV. I do. And I wish he weren't like that, because I do like Andy. I have a soft spot for Andy, even when he's terrible. I think he thinks he'd rather have the good TV than to have the family. You can have your little fight, but calling each other garbage and lunging at each other, there's no way that should happen. And I think he was instrumental in that, with the Gorgas, with the Manzos, all of that. Real Housewives Girl Trip. C. Diggy one had a question: is that ever coming out? Something is going to come out, but they got to get together where Brandy put her hand, something she did to Caroline Manzo. I think she put her hands down her pants. Something. Again, everybody don't play like that. And they encourage that with the alcohol and all this, the girl on girl. That's not funny to everybody. So if they got to pay Caroline or whatever they need to do or shelve that forever, they may, but Andy wants that to come back. C. Diggy one asked, would they ever do All Housewives Traders? Andy said he would love that. He would love the idea, but because of where it's shot, the logistics of it. He said a lot of times there have been housewives invited, could not go because of personal things they have going on. Nene disclosed that to us. Brent got sick when she got invited, but they couldn't go because of their filming overlap with Traders filming or different things going on in their personal lives. That's something he would love, but we may not ever see it, an all Real Housewives Traders. So that was interesting. Jerry Vet, you don't think Teresa will never change? I don't think so. I don't know, Jerry Vet. She's done her time. G has helped raise those girls. She see the backlash she gets. There's people that literally hate Teresa for having a hand in ruining that show. I used to think it was Melissa, like Melissa wanted her spotlight and all this. I don't think it's Melissa. Just to hear her speak on Joe, and Teresa's treated her like a dog over the years. She said to see her husband beaming and bragging that he got to see his sister and he's with his sister. And I believed it. I think that Joe and Melissa will do anything to kind of make up, whether the show comes back or not. And I think they do still want it to come back. They're doing test filming. We didn't see any previews of that. We saw previews of everything else. We saw a Rhode Island preview. It looks pretty good, but I don't know. It's just kind of, they all look and act like Dolores. So Real Housewives of Potomac had another preview. That's going to be good. Atlanta did not do one. Salt Lake City had the mid-season. Something else, I can't remember what. But Bravo has a lot of good stuff coming up. They didn't show us any Traders preview. I was looking forward to that. Traders US. Teresa needs the money. Louis had too many legal problems. Yeah, I keep hearing that. She's married to another dubious, felonious, possibly personality. So we'll see. Juicy Joe, he got deported to Italy after he served his time. I don't know, is he back? He's probably welcome back with this administration. I know Gia was reaching out, trying to get daddy home. But again, y'all, we've gone on about an hour. I just wanted to talk about the latest Bravo events, the end of BravoCon, answer any questions we had. Thank you, all of you, for feedback. I love it when you come into the lives because it triggers things that I didn't remember. Did they show Rhode Island? Yeah, they did. They showed Rhode Island. It looks like a cross between, I don't want to be stereotypical, but a cross between Real Housewives of New Jersey and Mob Wives. Take from that what you will. They're going to have a guest appearance from Dolores, but it's going to be interesting. If you miss New Jersey and you like New Jersey, give Rhode Island a chance. I plan to, and I'm even going to review it. So yeah, they did show us a little preview. We didn't meet the housewives, though. I don't know if they were invited or not. I guess they was there sprinkling the little things, but I didn't recognize or know any of the Rhode Island ladies. Thank you, Sharon. Sandra P., excellent commentary. Thank you all for coming in during my lives. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Please like the video. Team Replay, as always, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the YouTube streets. Thank you, Yvette. I'm so glad you found my content, and I love you as well. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye. Be blessed, everyone.